And she thought, you know what, I'm going to grab a coffee and I'm going to go to Mrs. Fields and I'm going to sit in there and I'm going to do some work. So she goes up, buys a coffee, buys these cookies, goes and comes, and he sits down at, you know those benches that you get along the windows where you just sit individually? Well, the only seat that was vacant was kind of a little bit of a gap, but it was next to a man already sitting there. So she goes up and she puts her cookies on the bench to her right, and the man is on her right, and she's sipping her coffee, she eats a cookie, and she's in heaven. She loves chocolate cookies, like me. And she's working away, and then the next thing, in her peripheral vision, she sees this man's hand go into her cookies and take one. And she's like, oh. And she thought, well, hang on, I'm not going to make a scene. Maybe he's just going to have one. Maybe he was hungry. So I'll just leave it alone and hopefully it'll stop. And she didn't even turn her head. A few minutes later, she sees the hand going again. She's like, now she's kind of turning a little bit to see what it looks like. And she's like, what's with this man? The audacity, just helping himself to my cookies. So then she decides she's going to take one to maybe remind him, these are mine, what are you doing? Anyway, not long after that, there she sees his hand going in again. She's like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And this went on, one after the other. She was taking one, he was taking one. And in the end, she got so frustrated, she looked in the packet and there was only one cookie left. And she thought, man, this guy's got no shame. I better dive in before he gets it. And just as she's about to reach in, he sticks his hand in and he grabs the last cookie. At this point, she turns to look at him with disgust, and he very calmly breaks the cookie in half and gives her half. And she's like, I cannot believe this man. So in disgust, she grabs the cookie, she eats it, throws her coffee out, picks up her bag and her work things, walks to her car, drops everything in the car, opens up her purse to get her keys out, and there's her bag of cookies. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? They were his cookies the whole time. So friends, I want to leave you with this message. And then when we're done, I'm going to ask Pastor John, I want to ask all the men who stood up to please do this for me. I want you to come to the front, and I want John to say a special prayer for all the men of our church and all the men here to step up and fight back. So I want to leave you with this about the cookie story. Next time you get angry, next time you're about to get angry with someone, don't. Remember my cookie story. Don't get angry. Too often our interpretation of the world is flawed, friends. And I just gave you a classic example of that. Don't get angry unless you're at the foot of the cross, hanging on to Jesus. Don't get angry. Let's pray. Lord, I thank you for this